A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
Like, we're not spending money anymore. Like, we're buying food and household essentials. We're not funding a war.
What are you doing, Stick Bro?
Okay, I grew up in the Bush era. I remember the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, and I also remember Barack Obama uh, with the coup that he was doing in all the Middle East, the bombing in Yemen and Syria, and then the overthrow of Gaddafi, and how the Middle East became so unstable, and now we had a flood of immigrants from the Middle East onto Europe, and now committed to the problem that we have today with immigration. So I do understand the blowback that comes with American intervention, NATO intervention into countries that we have no business being, and our interests doesn't really align by attacking these people. So say that to say this, I understand the sentiment of most Americans when it comes to Iran, and like many of them, I also want to see de-escalation in the region. I don't want the war to proceed to which we have boots on the ground. Now, with that being said, I've actually came across this video on Twitter about, well, X now, formerly known as Twitter, of this lady who actually quit her job. Her and her husband quit her job in order to not support the war that's going on in Iran. Let's check this video out real quick, and I'll give you my commentary in a few minutes.
People keep asking how we're going to pay our bills now that my husband and I both quit our jobs. The bills are not the focus. We're not worried about bills. We are not working as a form of protest. We're going to pay our bills, the ones that are necessary, because we have cut back a lot. Like, since the current administration took office, we've cut back on so much. Like, we are not putting money into the economy like we used to. We are not going out to eat. We are not traveling. We are not going to Target and filling our cart up with a bunch of stuff that we don't need. Like, we're not spending money anymore. Like, we're buying food and household essentials. We're not funding a war.
And she appeared to be dead serious too. Listen, I do understand the sentiment that comes with you trying to protest this invasion or this war, and you don't want this thing to escalate. So then, therefore, you're trying to sacrifice something in order to kind of transfer the pain of some of these corporations that are pro-war. Because I remember when I used to protest the Israel versus Gaza, stuff like that, like back in the days in the 2008, 2009. Like, for a while, I stopped buying sneaker bar, right? Because like I'll try to not support companies that are Israeli made and stuff like that, or product that are Israeli made. Which I understand that part. It's a very little sacrifice, and it actually was taking effect because they even had to pass in Congress that boycotting Israel was illegal. However, quitting your whole job, bruv, your whole job, you and your husband, you quitting your job, like, I don't think that's wise. I don't think it's a good idea because, like, the war's still gonna continue. You're just gonna be homeless when you can't pay your bills and all that stuff. But maybe you got that type of money that can allow you, that you can afford to take, like, 6 months off or something like that. Which, to be honest with you, that's the type of financial freedom I want to have. So if you can make that happen, good on you. But I think it's stupid.
Not me, not my husband, not my household. We're not participating. We're not going to do this anymore. We are not funding this war. People
See, now what this conflict is actually doing for Trump supporters is actually it's dividing them, because you do have, because the coalition, when it comes to the Trump support, the base, the MAGA base, right? It's made up of former liberals such as myself, hawkish neocons, and Bible Belt thumpers, and gay people. There's so many mixture of people that actually create the Trump the Trump base. So therefore, those who are anti-war are looking what President Trump is doing, and we're actually against it, And we're looking at like, well, bruv, it's not what the hell we signed up for. And I guess in a way that kind of proved that the whole MAGA base is not a cult, because if you can actually disagree with your leader, it just shows that you actually do have your own principle. You withhold your principle regardless of who's in charge, regardless of who's president. And that is also something that's quite interesting, because a lot of people, their stance on something tend to switch based on whether or not their people are in charge, right? And that's one of the things that irritates me when, let's say, a lot of people were anti-war when it comes to Bush, and then as soon as Barack Obama became president, all of a sudden, oh, they forget about it. All of a sudden they have no problem with Barack Obama doing the exact same thing that Bush was doing, which is the invasion in the Middle East, the Yemen, Libya, Syria, and all the other places that he was, the bombing campaign and all that stuff, and the invasion, and the coup that he kept, funding and stuff like that. And that kind of shows a level of consistency.
Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
But now for those hypocrites, let's address them, right? The ones that actually had a Ukraine flag on their bio, that have no problem with U.S. supporting Ukraine and all that stuff against Russia, but have a problem with the support of Israel against Iran because, Orange man bad. And I think this guy has a perfect analysis for y'all. Check it out real quick.
So for all the Democrats and liberals that support Iran and hate Israel, I just want to show y'all something that Barack Obama said when he was president. Maybe if y'all hear it from him, maybe it'll help make sense to y'all.
Because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security, and it's a threat to Israel's national security. We cannot afford to have a nuclear arms race in the most volatile region of the world. Iran's a state sponsor of terrorism, and for them to be able to provide nuclear technology to non-state actors, that's unacceptable. And they have said that they want to see Israel wiped off the map. So the offers Iran a choice. They can take the diplomatic route and end their nuclear program, or they will have to face a united world and a United States president, me, who said we're not going to take any options off the table.
I don't know, bro. It just sounds an awful lot like what Donald Trump's saying right now, if you ask me. Which comes off to me to make it seem as if y'all actually understand what we're saying and y'all are actually for what we're saying. Y'all just are against it because Donald Trump's the one initiating it now. Because Donald Trump's leading it and a Democrat like Barack Obama isn't leading it now. Y'all have an issue with it. That's just what it seemed like to me. I don't know.
See, I'm not a fan of Israel, but I'm also not a fan of U.S. invasions or U.S. Interventions all the time, right? Sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes it is beneficial to the people that actually might live in that region. Like, for example, in 1994, when U.S. invaded Haiti to actually restore the last president, Aristide, and I was there. I understood the atrocity that was being committed by my own people, right? By, the army that was there and stuff like that. And when the U.S. invaded, that was freaking looked at as liberation, right? So the U.S., intervention in certain regions is not always bad, right? But it has to be smart. It has to be a way that it occurred, that at the end of it, then there's actually some sort of lasting peace, or at least stability in that region. My point is, I don't think it's wise for Iran to have nuclear capability because of their hatred they have expressed on numerous occasions on how they would actually definitely attack people that they don't like, including Israel, including the United States, if they can make it happen. But let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do you guys in support of what Trump is doing, or do you think that it's bad all around? So let me know down below, leave out a comment, and I'll see you next time. Peace.